Everyone, my name's Josh Whelan from Meat and Livestock Australia. As the red meat RDC, we continually scour the world for technologies that will create new competitive advantages for our industry participants. One of those, unsurprisingly, is the blockchain technology. Our particular interests extend beyond the basic, well not basic, but the traceability components and reach into the areas of what can it achieve around inventory management, supply chain optimization, and further new capital models that can contribute new capital to our industry. And to that point, it's my pleasure to introduce the founder and CEO of Bio.io, Raja.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for sharing some time to hear all these wonderful stories you've heard today. I'm here to talk about the food supply chain and a whole series of problems that are complex and need fixing right away. I'd venture to say that really very few of us really know who makes our food. How does it get to us? And then it seems like you need a chemistry degree today to actually understand what's in it. At our company, Ripe.io, we've been using advances in blockchain technology, IoT, sensors, and advanced learning so that we can create a shared, trusted record about our food so that we have an idea of what we're actually eating, where does it come from, is it safe? Now, the UN tells us that we need to feed 9 billion people somewhere between 2030 and 2050. The unfortunate consequence of this is that it's putting an enormous strain on the supply chain. And so we see really poor outcomes in things like food wastage, food fraud, and certainly we've heard all about recalls. And unfortunately, what's happening is this is causing us as consumers to demand a whole lot more about what we're eating, like to understand what it is in our food. And unfortunately, it's causing a diminishment in trust. I mean, in the US, the Nielsen did a study where less than 25% of Americans actually trust their brands, their retailers, and food. My guess is if we're asked that in China, we're looking at maybe 1%. Definitely not a good spot. So, the food system, we evaluated it. It is really an amazing matrix of farmers, of producers, of manufacturers, of distributors, all the way up to the retailer, and ultimately you get your food. Problem is that it's fairly disconnected, leaving a very inefficient, costly system that really doesn't have a lot of trust. We have to solve for that. Enter the blockchain. Right now, because of the decentralized nature of food, the blockchain is actually a good technology to be able to go ahead and create collaboration through a rational set of shared data. And you've probably heard about things like ledgers and tokens and so on, but the idea is so that you have a shared single view that's been validated by the supply chain. So, our blockchain of food is totally focused on food quality. Unlike a number of blockchains that are emerging in the space that focus on traceability, we think if we tell you more about this, the food, the process, and the people that are involved, it's a lot more important than punching a button saying that's where it came from. So, what we've done is we take in all of this information that comes from the field, the farmers, and we create what we call a digital twin of the food. And that allows us to actually end up creating a new type of network that we call the food quality network. And what that means for us is that we see ourselves one day, and shortly, being able to go ahead and license our software, which we do with our current client base, work on APIs, and create a real new model of being able to collectively provide curated data that can be shared with institutions within the system. Now, for you financial types in the audience, you've actually come up to us and said, oh, wait a minute, you want to be the Bloomberg of food. Well, I look at their valuation, I go, damn right, why not? So, in that sense, we aim to be that one day. Let me show you a couple of our products that we've released to the market. Number one is our food browser. The idea behind this is that we provide our supply chain customers the ability to see their food and the process before it gets to them, before it gets to you. So the reality is that we can show some information about the produce types, we can show something about the farm, and then we can also show information about tracking that food with sensor information that'll tell us a little bit about the temperature conditions of, say, a tomato. We also work with our customers to showcase where their salad come from. And ultimately, the food bundle is meant to enable a wide distribution about the quality of that food. I want to talk to you maybe just briefly about our company, who we are. We're operating in Silicon Valley and New York, and my co-founder and I actually come from the financial trading business. Myself from the banking side, Phil Harris, my happiest side of the equation, from the exchanges. And so we both found blockchain. I ended up working as one of the earliest employees of a consortium called R3 around banking and insurance. And Phil actually sat on the deal team at NASDAQ that oversaw investments in Chain.com, which recently got sold. This experience allowed us to actually create this wonderful team of blockchain technologists, of food and ag tech specialists, and really experts in supply chain and operations. We even have agronomists and flavor specialists on our team. We're really excited about this group. And we also have a whole series of customers that represent a big chunk of American produce. Dairy Farmers of America have 35% of all dairy sold in the US. The National Pork Board controls and manages all of the pork sold there. And so we have an ability to deploy that blockchain so that we can actually federate the data, so that we can actually get to a real shared record of that truth. We've been lucky enough, and in fact, I just found out about a half an hour ago, we just signed our first large consumer products good companies. So I'm a cheap date, so a beer might actually let me reveal who that might be. We'll see outside. And ultimately, I wanted to mention that we've had actually just such an excellent experience with the accelerators, but certainly SparkLabs Cultiv8's our best. JJ, you don't have to pay me for that later. All right, and then lastly, we've actually just closed our seed round funding with Maersk Growth Ventures and also an innovation lab in Chicago called RelishWorks. So this is allowing us to take that capital, build out our team, finish the product, and then ultimately serve our customers. And so at Ripe, we aim to be providing transparency in every bite of food that we eat. Thank you.